Hey guys, welcome back. In the last few videos, I've been working on my shop and I just put an epoxy floor down. It looks beautiful. Now I'm going to start working on the walls. We've definitely got a little bit of moisture coming in through the block wall here. And so I'm actually going to be sealing this and then putting a coat of paint over top. I'm going to first start by caulking any cracks or holes in the wall that may be letting in moisture. This will help seal this up really nicely. And I'm also using caulking that is gray. It's going to dry very close to the epoxy color that I have on the floor. And so that will blend in. If any gets on the floor, we're all right. And then anything that's on the wall is obviously going to be painted when I'm done. If you're wondering about the caulking, Drylock makes this. It's specifically for caulking masonry or concrete and fixing those leaks that let in moisture. Now that I have all of the larger gaps on this wall filled, I can now start working on sealing the wall. Now in this corner, there's obvious moisture coming in. I don't know what extent. I had a wood rack that was pretty large in front of this, and I don't know if there's actual water puddling up at the bottom of this, but not a huge amount for sure. But because of the moisture, there's a lot of loose paint that needs to be brushed off, as well as some concrete that's a little bit soft. So I'm going to be wire brushing this so that I have a nice clean surface to bond with. Now all I'm going to be using for this is a roller, a tray, and a paintbrush, and I'm going to be using this Drylock Original Waterproofer. This stuff works great, and depending on how big of a leak you have, on the back there's some directions to tell you how many coats you need to do. But this is a really thick paint. It's kind of like a paste and very gritty or sandy, so it bonds with that concrete and fills in all the gaps. Concrete blocks and cement is very porous, and so this will soak into all those pores and seal any spots that moisture is coming through. And so I'm going to be putting this on really thick so it fills in everything. From what I can tell, this doesn't seem like a leak that is active running water. It's more of a soaking or seeping through the concrete. And so I'm going to be putting 2 to 3 coats on this that are really thick coats, and that should be good enough to seal all of this. But if there's any larger cracks or things that aren't quite getting filled with the roller, I'm going to come back like in the corner and paint with a paintbrush and put it on really thick. Now, a quick tip, if your foundation's actually wet and you try to seal this, it's probably not going to work. I would wait till there's maybe a drier season where you're at and the foundation isn't leaking and the wall's nice and dry. That's when I would try to seal this, or else the water might just wash away all your work and you just end up wasting money and time on this and it not actually seal. So just make sure that you're trying to do this at the right time and not when it's actually leaking. It's really important to seal foundations like this. For one, this is my shop. I've got a lot of tools in here that will rust if it's too damp, and so this is going to be really nice. All the wood that I have storing in here also won't soak up all that moisture, but there also looked like there could be quite a bit of mold growing in that corner when moisture's coming into your house. It's not good, so any chance you get to seal off and prevent any moisture from getting inside and lower the humidity in your house is good, and it would prevent any future mold from growing. I'm not going to cover the entire wall throughout the basement. Only one side of it is actually covered with soil on the outside and is getting all that moisture. The rest just has a few places that looks like moisture is starting to affect it or could be leaking a little bit. I will make sure I cover those sections with the Drylock, but everywhere else is looking good, so I'm not going to bother. I've done 2 coats on all of the minor areas, and this main corner where it was leaking a lot more, I've done 3 coats, and now I'm going to move on to painting. Everything looks good, all the gaps have been filled, and now I'm going to put a nice even white coat across the entire wall to freshen this up. All right, we've got this wall just about finished up. We're gonna do the last little bit of the painting, and then that should finish up this project. But I just wanted to show you real quick the wall that's dividing the basement from the rest of the shop. I'm actually gonna be redoing this right now. All the plywood and chipboard looks nasty on here, so I'm gonna put up some fresh new plywood, put in some new outlets, and then also paint this so that it looks good and everything looks nice and clean in the shop. And in just a minute, I'll show you an after photo and also be able to start moving all of my shop tools back in here and getting things organized again. Now here's the finished shop. It looks great. I'm really excited about this. A lot cleaner than it was before, so much better. And the wall right here looks great. No issues so far with moisture coming in. And this Drylock says it should at least last up to 10 years. So if that's not the case, if something happens, I start seeing more moisture, I'll make an update video so you guys know that. But everything so far looks great. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, hit that like button down below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos. Thanks so much, guys. I'll see you in the next one.